wants to live. Just play it again. Just play it twice.
You sure?
Oh yeah, you do that. It'll give people time to get on. It's fine. They join immediately. Hey, hey, hey. Give me a chance to do my thing. You know why it does that sometimes. They won't let me share. There's no way to that. Okay. Ready.
I said I'm going to be working on the change.
Look at me. Yeah, you ain't me. Look at me. Tell me why, tell me why, tell me why. Tell me why, tell me why. Why can't we get everybody wants to live together. Why can't we live together?
Hello, all you elevated beauties. Some kissed by God's lips. This is Corey. You're glad to see you. I'm super powered for you. Good work.
Hey, hey, hey. Happy Friday. Oh, God. I'm exhausted. My kids are playing football. Both of them, even the third grader. I'm tired. Y'all, somebody check on me. I'm not okay. And they are now talking about playing basketball and baseball and golf and Lord, I feel like they're gonna say hockey in a minute, lacrosse. They want to play it all. So y'all check on me. I am not okay. But I hope that you guys are okay and you're feeling good and feel like you're looking good and all that good stuff, because that's important. The looking good party, especially. So today at the 12 o'clock hour, I am going to have my hairstylist extraordinaire. Some of you are aware, 300 some plus of you weighed in on my new due because I told y'all I could no longer afford my weave. This private school tuition is kicking in. So I had to make a choice between my education, my children's education, and my hair. Well, their education won. And so today I have the phenomenal Crystal Hubbard, who is my stylist extraordinaire, but she's also someone that is an advocate for what I like to call good hair, because good hair is your hair and whatever you choose to do with it. But she's an advocate for those who may have some hair challenges, who experience hair issues, difficulties, scalp treatments. She's coming on today at 12 o'clock hour to talk about alopecia. I want to talk about Black women and hair loss, and I want to talk about a little bit of weave shaming. Y'all know I did a little post back in the day. I showed y'all my hair because I, at the time, did not know that everybody assumes if you wear a weave, you're bald headed. Well, clearly that's incorrect. So I want to talk about that today at 12 o'clock hour. I want y'all to stay with me. We got a good show today. I want to talk very briefly because y'all know I'm about Black empowerment and who we are and what we are and where we are in this country. There is a 20-year-old cheerleader, blonde hair, blue eyed, and her name is Brooke Skylar Richardson from Ohio. She was charged with aggravated murder, involuntary manslaughter, and child endangerment. She was found guilty of abuse to a corpse. So, Brooke Skylar Richardson had a baby and buried that baby in her backyard and put flowers on the grave in the backyard. She went to the doctor's office. And the doctor who gave her the pregnancy test was alarmed that there was no baby present. And they notified the police. Police did an investigation, and she's been living with this horror for 2 years. And that's how it's written. I'm using the CNN's words. And it's funny to me how you can bury a baby and you only charge with abuse to a corpse. And it got me to thinking, and I really should have looked at the laws for abortion in Ohio, but Ohio is not necessarily a state that goes for us, or us being Democrats. I'm going to leave that right there. I think y'all can follow this path that I'm walking down. And I think it's very odd that you have trouble aborting a fetus, but you're only guilty of abuse to a corpse when the baby is born and put in the ground. So what they're saying is they have no way to know if the baby was born alive. Well, why don't they have a way of knowing that? We have forensics. We have forensic specialists. You have forensic coroners. You have forensic scientists. I mean, here we've got forensic CPAs. So, I think that's odd. But I think what's really interesting about it is that we are in a position, in a place where there are Black and brown in particular that are being killed after they're here. And no one seems to be alarmed. And it seems like now, if you just put the baby in, nobody knows that the baby was born. You just shove the baby in the ground and go on to your cheerleading career. But I think what got everyone to raise an eyebrow about little Brooke is that she texted her mother and said, "I got my stomach back." And she had just started a new relationship. But, just abuse to a corpse. I just thought that was a little news you could use. Amber Geiger. I had some people ask me, why didn't I acknowledge the anniversary of Botham Jean's death last week? I thought about it. Actually, I knew it was the 1 year anniversary. But to me, anniversary, the undertone and the connotation of it suggests to me that there is a celebration afoot. And it just kind of wore on me about using the word anniversary and looking at it and talking about it. Because what I thought about is the family is living with this horror. And last week, on the 1 year to the date of his murder, because they keep saying death, it was a murder, that was voir dire, which was the legal term for jury selection. 4,000 jury summons went out in Dallas County. Don't y'all think it's interesting that I didn't get one? I think that's very eyebrow raising. And 400 people were selected to fill out a questionnaire. And from that 400, both the defense counsel and the prosecution are going to pore over it. They're going to look at it, and then they're going to make some determinations about who they want to select. And so both of them get challenges where they don't have to prove up why they're dismissing someone. And so I really am eager to see what a jury of Amber Geiger's peers look like. I'm interested to see that. Her defense counsel is asking for a change of venue. Many people were saying when this first happened and we were all tweeting and Facebooking and IGing and screaming from the mountaintops that this was a murder, many people were talking about that we need not say anything because this was going to give them an opportunity to say that she could not get a jury that was unbiased and that we were tainting the pool of jurors. Well, to me, that's asinine and ludicrous. And I'm going to tell you why. Well, here you go. Because this case was known all over the world. I have a cousin that lives in Germany. She knew about it. I have friends that live in Puerto Rico, although that's part of the U.S. territory. In Puerto Rico, they knew about it. People that lived outside of Dallas and Texas knew about it. So to suggest that she could get a fairer trial elsewhere other than in Dallas County is ludicrous. Everybody in the state of Texas knew what happened and they formed their opinions. Then you had WFAA leak it. Well, it was leaked on their during a live broadcast. However, it was also on the internet on their page, and it was shared God knows how many times around the world throughout the universe. So to suggest that there is a jury elsewhere outside of Dallas County that can be fairer to her, well, that's just the lawyer doing her job. But and you can't get mad at that. You can't get mad that they're doing their job, but it is utterly ridiculous to suggest that. It seems a little bit, what should we say, Caucasus. A little Caucasus. That's all I'm saying. Well, with that being said, Amber Geiger has gotten her hair straightened. She was looking like a mom for a little while, but she's gotten her hair straightened out, and she's walking around in twin setter sets and not looking so police officery. And we'll just see what happens. I do plan to go down there next week. Lord say the same. I told y'all I'm a football mom. I swear I go to that school 17 times a day because somebody's left something. However, I do plan to go and sit in and give you all the take that the media may not give you because they're certainly not going to give you, well, my perspective or our take. So I plan to do that. I think that they are looking for a change of venue simply because she was able to go to Keller and just walk through the process as a murderer, and they're looking for that same kind of walkthrough. But we'll stay tuned, won't we, ladies and gentlemen? We'll find out what happens. Those of you that go to the fair, I have people that live in other places, but they're in college, Grambling, Prairie View, and the like, because the Grambling Prairie View game is a big deal. Uh, Big Tex. So for those of you that don't know, in the state of Texas, Dallas to be specific, city, we have the largest fair in the world. Yes, it's very, very, it's huge, and it lasts 3.5 weeks, and we go and we eat a bunch of stuff that we're not supposed to. And, it's phenomenal, it's fantastic. And so we have a huge rivalry, HBCU, Grambling versus Prairie View. Prairie View being in the state of Texas, Grambling University. Shout out to the world famed band. Shout out to the Black Foxes and Prairie View A&M University. And so they play in the Cotton Bowl, which the Dallas Cowboys used to play in like eons ago, right? And so that starts the fair. That's the opening of the fair. You have Madison and Lincoln High School, and the bands come out, and everybody walks to the fair, and they start from the schools, and it is a big deal for colored folks, baby. It's a good time. Well, there is a huge statue there called Big Tex, and he's huge. I don't even know how tall he is, Angelo. He's like 100 stories high, maybe. And he says, hello, with the Big Tex voice. And you look at him and you wave, even he really doesn't see you, but that's the fun of it. Well, he's getting new shoes. Who knew? So Big Tex is getting new boots, and they were designed by a lady right here in Keller, Katie Saucedo. She designed them. They chose them in the 2019 contest. And so he is getting new boots, and they unveiled them today. Oh, see how I lied. I said 100 stories. Well, to me, I've been going to go, girl, it's like 100 stories. But really, in actuality, it's 55. So it's 55 feet. He's huge. So he's getting new shoes. Everybody go to the fair. Check out his new shoes. He got new clothes a couple of years ago. Now he's getting new shoes. He's off that child support, I guess, because everything is happening for him now. Today, we're going to talk about the Democratic debate. We're going to talk about Shaun King. Some people refer to him as Talcum X. That tickles me to death. Talcum X, we're going to talk about Shaun King. There's a lot of stuff going on Twitter about him. I don't know what's real. I don't know what's fake. I want y'all to weigh in. We're going to talk about Frisco ISD. Those of you that have been following know that my sorority sister has had an issue with Frisco ISD, but I learned that she is number 8. There have been 7 other Black women that have been treated the same way. I'm going to share my experience with Frisco. I see one of my sorority sisters that we used to live in the same neighborhood. She is watching today. Hopefully she'll weigh in. I won't give your name. Just tell us what you know. And we'll talk about Frisco. And then at the 12 o'clock hour, we're going to talk about alopecia. Antonio Brown. Lord. Antonio Brown has got to be the dumbest person God ever put skin on. He literally is a complete asshat. Y'all know I usually don't talk like that on the show because my mama's watching and I don't want to get in trouble. But he is an asshat. He is a complete idiot. So he got mad because he did not want to wear the new helmet. This new helmet was actually they had been phasing it out over the last, I believe, 5 years is when the announcement came through that they were going to phase it out. So he's been knowing this is not new. This is not news you can use. I mean, he's known. So he was the last holdout and he was acting a complete idiot. Well, he called the owner of the team a saltine cracker and he acted a fool and wanted to be cut. And so they obliged him. They did that. He acted a fool over a period of time, and then the weekend they cut him. Had he waited till the following Tuesday, he was guaranteed $30 million. $30 million. Well, he got picked up. Whoop, immediately. Because what the NFL loves is a black idiot acting a fool. They love that. That's like you know what? I think that's in the fine print. Is he an upstanding citizen? Is he of African American descent? If he's of African American descent, bypass number one. So he gets picked up, and Antonio Brown is now getting $9 million. Well, I don't think it takes an astrophysicist to do really great math to figure out that 30 million to 9 million. Well, he's been accused of rape and sexual assault. Well, now let me say this. I do not think because you're an asshat that makes you a rapist. I do not think because you are a football player you are a rapist. I do not think because you are a black man and an athlete you are a rapist. In fact, we have numerous accounts of when someone was not those things, even though they were accused. We know of countless stories where young black boys who played football in college were accused of rape by consenting white women and they ended up going to jail. We know of countless relationships between black boys playing football and basketball and having a girlfriend that was Caucasian whose father found out she said something different and he went to the penitentiary. We know of countless stories. Does that mean that every white person lies on black people about rape? Absolutely not. Before y'all try to tell me something ridiculous like that. Absolutely not. But do we have countless stories over the last 400 years of what that has done to us historically? Yes, we have a track record, long established, well known that that happens. But I had a very interesting conversation with someone that I hold in great respect, admire, and is my friend, who is a black woman raising two beautiful, very athletic, superior black boys, who said it is doubtful that he is, and I'm paraphrasing, these are not her exact words, it is doubtful that he is innocent based on his line of profession and the fact that he's a black man. Well, wait a minute. I was like, Scooby Doo. What? Wait a minute, ho. I was like, Nate Dogg, hold up, wait. I didn't understand for a minute what was going on. And I was like, is she serious? Wait a minute, hold on. Because, see, both of my boys play football. I started this show with that. See, I'm always going somewhere. Both of my boys play football. Their father played football. His father played football. My father played football. None of which are rapists. Now, of course, they did not make it to the NFL, and they don't suffer from CTE. Well, I don't think my ex-husband suffered from CTE, but um, but honestly, no, he's a good dad. Um, you know, to me, it's unkind to group any classification of people together and say they're all one way. And part of being Black and sharing this African American experience is to denote that in specificity, to lock it away, carry it in your heart, and let it manifest in your mind so that you realize that we have to judge people by their character because we are always judged by the color of our skin. So I don't know if Antonio Brown is a rapist. I know he's an idiot. I know he can be crass and rude and disrespectful because I'm not going to go into detail about what the tweet said, but they were horrible. There is an account in the lawsuit that talks about him um, while they were watching church service. Uh, violating himself and ejaculating on her back. My mama watching. I had to watch my words. And so there is this account of him doing that. And I don't know if that's true or not. It's weird. But then they said they had the text messages. So I went and looked, and yes. But maybe he's just a sicko. But what I don't understand is this is three separate sexual assaults, three separate rapes. That's odd to me. And I don't know that I completely believe. I'm on my shirt, y'all. I don't know if I completely believe her rendition, and I don't want to victim shame, but it is odd to me. It does strike me as a little eyebrow raising that three separate times he raped her. She was supposedly his trainer. I don't understand going back after being raped, but I do know that there is a certain level of psychosis for women that feel undervalued and do not feel worthy and don't have a certain level of self-esteem, that they may be in a position to forgive and forget. We see that with domestic violence victims all the time. And so I don't think that it's proper or that we should in any way decide that she's completely lying. But I do think that the timing of this $30 million guaranteed and the actual time that she filed the lawsuit, through her attorney, I think all of that also plays into our mindset about how we feel about what we're hearing. Now, I am reserving judgment. I am not passing judgment on her. But I am also not saying that Antonio Brown is a rapist because he plays football. I think that's unkind, it's unfair, and it's cruel. I think grouping every football player and saying that they have propensity to violate women is exactly what the white supremacist group would have you to believe, and to purport that as a black person is to me unconscionable. And it should shock the consciousness of anybody who would fall in line to even listen to that line of thinking, because we have to judge people as they are and the individuals. And so what we know is we've had several, and the NFL loves black people, black men in particular, but not just black men. Roethlisberger was accused, and some others were accused of violating women in the NFL, especially Jerry Jones. Just takes you and so pats you on your back and tell you, okay, run over people, kill them, whatever, shoot up people in the club, whatever. Shoot yourself in the club, shit. The NFL don't care. But I certainly don't think that we need to say, one, that she's lying, or two, that he's guilty. We need to reserve judgment and discuss it as we want to, but certainly not pass judgment. All right, this is Coy with the Black Tea Sip. I'm gonna take a quick break. Facebook people, I'm gonna let you hear the mic, not the music. YouTube people, you can. Well, I don't know how we're doing that. We'll just wrap a little taste, but I gotta take a quick commercial break for those that are listening on fbrn.us. I hope that you have voted for me. I have been nominated as Best Female Host on the Sharkey Awards, and I hope that you're voting for me. Several of you have let me know that you're voting, and I appreciate the love. This show is not even 6 months old, so this is a huge honor and privilege for me. I think it's a huge honor and privilege for me to be able to come to you and talk to you, and y'all allow me the opportunity to do that. Stay with me. We're gonna just keep on talking, but we'll let the radio people hear the music this time. This is Cora with the Black Tea Sip, taking a quick break. Can y'all hear me? Testing. If y'all can hear me, say something, Facebook. Can y'all hear me? Democratic debate. What are y'all thinking? Do you have to stand down? Anybody win? I don't know that I thought anybody won. I felt like, I felt like it was a lot of little gut punches and a lot of little people trying to say one thing or another. But I don't know that I thought anybody won per se. I think I thought, some good sound bites there. Thought it was some good sound bites. So y'all tell me what y'all thinking. YouTube, Facebook, what are y'all thinking? I know that there are a huge amount of y'all out there that are thinking about Kamala. Y'all know that I'm not necessarily a fan, but I'm not a proponent and I'm not an opponent. Just, So y'all tell me what y'all thinking. We're not gonna mute the mics because I want y'all to stay with me. I want y'all to know that I'm here. So y'all talk to me. Type some stuff in. Let's wrap a little taste. See, I can hear the music back there. So I know y'all saying we can't hear nothing. Why is she bouncing her head? Well, I'm just bouncing my head. Oh, thank y'all to y'all that weighed in and said y'all like my new do. I you know, child, let me tell you something. This roller situation I'm having to live through. I'm gonna have to figure something out. And I don't have snapback hair. My hair requires maintenance. I'm just saying. Y'all don't have nothing to say about the debate. Y'all didn't watch the debate. I know y'all watched the debate. Oh, they playing Biggie. Don't y'all wish y'all could hear it? I need to figure something out. Y'all go to YouTube and we can play some music. Because Facebook doesn't want me try to stop this tea. Thank you, cousin. My cousin telling me I'm looking good. Too much maintenance. And y'all know I'm used to a shake and go. Did you watch the debate, Angela?
Mm-mm.
Why you didn't watch the debate?
I've just never followed politics that well.
There's a lot of people that don't really. I think the era of Trump has gotten people where they're starting to like pay attention because they can't believe the things that he says and that he does, and just he's absurd. He Why is my mic always falling down like an old man? Okay. So we were talking about the Democratic debate, and I was asking him if he watched it. Y'all know Angelo did not watch the Democratic debate. Now I put him on blast. But he was saying he just didn't follow politics. Well, a lot of people don't. And, I think one of the reasons that people don't follow politics is because, well, for one, it's nasty. And it's so many, I'm trying to, gotcha moments that people don't really want to see that. So they tune out. And not only do they tune out, they tune off. They don't want to be a part of that. They just want, it's like that movie, like the TV show used to come on, Just the Facts, man, Just the Facts. That's all they want. So last night, Democratic debate. Now, I was tired and I watched it because, I'm interested, but I also want to get y'all interested. And so I had to go back and watch it from the beginning late last night after being exhausted after this football game where we are winning. Let me tell you, 6-zip last night and 36-zip week before. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Shameless plug. And so there was no standout to me. I didn't see anybody win. I know a lot of people are pulling for Kamala or Corey. Some people are pulling for Elizabeth Warren. There was no standout. There was no person that just made you think, okay, Yeah, this is my person. But what I have been noticing is Elizabeth Warren, senator, is rising. Now, Joe Biden is not falling off, and he is the Democratic front runner. People love him, and I've had people tell me he was rocking with Obama, so I'm gonna roll with him. Well, hmm, that's all right. I mean, you have a right to choose your people the way you choose your people to vote. That's awfully strange. I mean, but the thing that they're saying about Joe Biden is that he's older. He's older and that he's forgetful. And so one of the key moments that everybody's talking about is Julian Castro. And he was the HUD secretary in Obama's administration. And of course, that Way to Go Joe was the vice president. And often what he's known for is what they call gaffes, making these slip ups in statement. But last night, he said that people would be able to get a Medicaid option and you could buy into Medicaid. Well, he didn't mean buy in, but that's exactly what Castro pounced on. And so to me, some people are saying, oh, it's a legitimate question. He's very forgetful. He'll be 8 years older than the oldest president, blah, blah, blah. And they're saying, well, it's not about age. It's not about age. It's about memory. I mean, he's always been like this. No, it's about age. Now, right or wrong, if you're saying you don't want someone that's so old in the White House, then what you're saying is he's too old. And it's okay to say he's too old if that's how you feel. If you feel like he's too old, then you should say he's too old. But I don't like the cover up that we do. I don't like the fact that we're saying, oh, no, it's not about age. No, it's absolutely about age. And you need to say, I think he's too old. I think the job is going to be stressful. I think that in this particular climate, we need someone who's going to be able to see it through, but we cannot diminish all of his accomplishments along the way. And so now people are attacking, and Patrice is telling me on YouTube she thought Castro was doing way too much. Well, Castro basically, had this been outside of the Democratic debate, where people are taking sides for 10, can y'all believe we got 10 people running? What it looked like is that he was accused of elder abuse. It looked like he was beating up on an old man unnecessarily. But here's the truth about it. Joe is the front runner. Everybody's jockeying for that position. We saw Kamala do it. We saw Cory Booker do it in the last Democratic debate. They both jumped on Joe. And so it does look like he's being beaten up on. Now, some people are going to be sympathetic and empathetic to that, and they're going to side with Joe Biden. Other people are going to see that as being strong and honest and having integrity in the face of adversity, and you just tell the truth, and they're going to side with whomever they side with, right? Let me tell you what I see. I see a lot of pandering. I see a lot of showboating. I see a lot of grandstanding. Because the truth of the matter is that Castro used the words, I am the legacy, and I'm paraphrasing, I am the legacy of Joe Biden, excuse me, I'm the legacy of Obama's administration, and you are not. All those people rocking with Obama, he lost them immediately. He lost them. All of those people who were just for Joe Biden, you lost them right then. Let me tell you what else happened. He lost a percentage of his base too, who see it like I see it. So Castro, who may be effective in another role in whoever's administration, whoever wins, he's not going to get that opportunity now because he divided people where they had to make a choice. Now, some people don't roll with him. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But now it's bifurcated in how people see him. So beating up on old people is not always, what's going to happen. And Patrice saying, I want to hear what you're going to do for the American people. They were talking about immigration. Immigration is a huge problem in this country. But every Democrat is not rolling on immigration. They are worried about healthcare. They're worried about jobs. If they are not seeing themselves part of this immigration problem, if they have not embodied some form of immigrant plight, you lost them. Because when you went off on Joe Biden, the white man with blue eyes, who lost his wife and child, who recently lost his son, whose son served in the military, who has been a state senator, who seems to be honest, who is of the working class. You see what I'm going with that? You just lost all of those people. Part of being able to demonstrate that you have the temperament to be the president of the United States is being able to control the entire base. Even the people that say, you know, he's not my choice, but I really do like the way Castro does this. I really do like the way he does. You lost all those people. I'm not sure that he gained. I believe he lost. And not because Joe Biden is my pick. I'm just, reading the tea leaves, pouring this tea. And so then we had Pete Buttigieg. He came out of the closet during the Democratic debate. Now, we already knew he was gay. He's got a gay husband. The mayor of South Bend, Indiana. And we had never seen that before play out on stage. I thought that was a very significant issue to come out with because we've never seen that play out before. And what we saw was America be able to sit there and be like, oh, okay, well, he's going to talk about his sexuality and who he's married to and that kind of thing. And we got to see it play out. And you know what? Nobody died. Nobody had a conniption. Now, do I think he's going to win the Democratic nominee? No, I do not. I do not think America is ready for that. I don't think America is ready for another black man. Talking about Cory Booker. I don't know that America's ready for that. I think that we had Obama. The way Obama was treated, or I should say mistreated, has left a bad taste in many mouths. But I don't think that white America is going to give a black man the keys to the code of the nuclear weapon again. And not because Obama did something so egregious that nobody's going to take him back. I think that Bush has awakened this white supremacy dragon in such a way that it's going to push Kamala and Cory out. I think Kamala did some significant things last night. She talked about what it's like to be a black child in this country. She talked about education. She talked about health care. It was significant. It was significant because that's not usually what is being said in Democratic debates. Usually, that's not what we're hearing. We're hearing about, a comprehensive plan that will also help Black America. She talked about, in specificity, the African American plight and addressed it with real data. And I loved it. Can y'all believe I'm saying that? Hey, I loved it because I've been wanting her to demonstrate this connection that she has with the African American community. I still think there are conversations that need to be had about, how she ran her office as the attorney general and as the prosecutor in California. I think those are significant conversations to have. But I absolutely loved the way she talked about being Black and what that's like for a child. She talked about if a child had a Black teacher first through third grade, then what that's like for that child. I think they're at, don't hold me to these numbers. There's a 16%, 20% that will go to college if a Black child is able to identify with their teacher before third grade. And she said if they have two Black teachers before third grade, then they are at 32% more likely to go to college. That's significant. And that has never been discussed. And so I love what Kamala is doing. I like the fact that Cory Booker talks about living in tenements and what that is like, because now we're getting to see how they are aligned with the very issues that we're in these streets trying to fight. I think that it's extremely important that we hear those things, but I don't know if that's going to secure the nomination. And you know what? Somebody got mad at me for saying this, but kudos to Kamala and Cory. And I'm saying that because these things need to be said, even at the risk of what you desire. And so those of you who were mad at me and saying I was I was really coming against Kamala. I wasn't. I was telling you how I feel, and I was being honest about it because I do want to support her. I do want to stand in that corner. I want to wear my pink and green shirt with her face on it, like we did with Obama, and stand at those polls because I was the one walking with my mama that had a shirt on that said Obama mama and had my baby in a onesie that said Obama baby. And I pushed him in a stroller and I knocked on doors and I campaigned for Obama. And that happened. Maybe I just wear that hat one day so y'all can see what I'm talking about my shirt. So I am for reaching out and securing the vote when I know they're aligned with us. And I was very disappointed by Obama. I've said that numerous times. So this is not me crawfishing. I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all because that is my job. But I like what they're doing. I like that they're bringing the issues to the forefront on a national stage and being unapologetically Black. And that I love because too many times we don't get the opportunity to do that. So kudos to Kamala. Kudos to Corey. Really kudos to Kamala. I mean, 1908. Because what that says to me is she may be doing this for the very reason that I said, to make sure that she gets a position in the administration to effect change. And so that way there's a scapegoat for the president, whomever that person ends up being, where they can, I guess, kind of toggle and double dutch in and out of issues and let that person carry it forward. And I think that may be what they do. I seem to think that Kamala wants to be the attorney general. I think that. I asked myself, well, why would she want to be attorney general? She's a senator. Okay, well, I didn't say this at the time, but you kind of done. Because being a senator, there are two senators per state. So she's a senator of California, and then she has another senator, and then they run at opposite times. Well, if you're the attorney general, then you're the attorney general of the entire United States of America. And so you directly deal with the laws and the justice thereof. So the implementation, the execution of the laws. Well, that's what she did for the state of California. I think that's what she wants to do. I'm not sure what Corey wants to do, and he didn't call me. So he's over there in Eva Mendez's ear, not mine. So, but I'm gonna stay on it. I'm gonna try to figure that out. Elizabeth Warren. I like Elizabeth Warren. I am wearing a necklace paying homage to my father's Native American roots. And somebody said, "Girl, you'll wear a big old necklace." Yes, I will, and I'm cute in a child. But I think that Elizabeth Warren did what a lot of Caucasians do. But I like Elizabeth Warren. She just came out and said, yeah, I did that. I apologize. I realize now the hurt that it caused. If you can align yourself or tie yourself with a Native American roots, there were benefits. Well, a lot of white people have done that. That does not make her a bad person because it's almost like Felicity Huffman and this school cheating scandal. This is what has always been done. This is new to many people who didn't have the resources to do it. But Black folks, we've been knowing they doing this. I mean, we were not, yeah, I said that, Mom. I said been knowing, I know. But we were not surprised. We were not shocked or appalled. We were like, oh, well, yeah, they just didn't buy a building. Because that's what they always did. They just got a building or they built a wing on and then they got their name on there, their family's name, and they went to school. But it is that same line of thinking. What I appreciate about Elizabeth Warren is that she came out and said, you know what, that was offensive. I realize now what that is and why that is. And she came out and she didn't hide from it. And I respect that. That's a certain level of truth and honor and integrity and living by a code, walking the walk and talking the talk simultaneously. And we don't see a lot of that in politics. Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are aligned. They both want health care for all. They both are wanting free college. They, and some people say, oh, that's socialism. That's it. You know what they want? They want what European countries get. That is what they want. They want the very same thing in the wealthiest country in the world. I think that's a misnomer, though, because we owe everybody. But I'm using the buzzwords. The wealthiest country in the world, that is what they want for us. So then you said, well, in Canada, you might have to wait 6 months to see a heart specialist when you're having heart trouble. I don't know if that's true or not. What I can tell you is the quality of care is not diminished by how much money you have. I do know that in Europe and in Canada they say they wait lists, but I also know my European friends that I went to law school with. They are saying that there are ways that you get moved around depending on your acuity level or the severity of your issues, health issues. So I think we need to be mindful about what exactly we're calling socialism and what that means. You know, that's a dog whistle word. You know, that is tantamount to when someone has the caucasity to tell someone of African American descent, you speak so well, you're so articulate. What that says is that's not what I'm expecting because of the color of your skin. I bought into all the stereotypes, and so wow, I don't believe that you're speaking in such a manner. So it's the same kind of dog whistle. And I think that socialism needs to be pulled completely apart, dissected so that we understand it. But they do want those things. The difference between Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren is Elizabeth Warren, from the onset of this campaign season, has had a way to pay for every single plan she has. And they mock her for that. They mock her by saying she's got a plan for a plan. Well, my mother used to tell me, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. We need to pay attention to who is telling us what. And we need to have a good idea of how they're going to effectuate the things they say they're going to be able to do for us. I think that Elizabeth Warren is doing that. And I think she's a lot more effective than Bernie. But let me tell you something about Bernie Sanders. He's going to keep yelling at y'all no matter what. He's the mad grandpa. He is the man that's got the big sign in his yard that says keep off the grass. And he's standing there sitting on the porch chewing stuff and dipping and spitting it out. If he knew I said that, he'd die because he's from Vermont. But that's what he reminds me of, an old rocking chair with the, he's a Democrat, so he's not with the shotgun. But that's that whole, and I am going to, that's his whole demeanor. That's his countenance. He continues to run for offices that he believes in. Bernie is celebrated a lot for fighting civil rights. A friend of mine that worked on the Hill said that Bernie Sanders has yet, until this campaign season, to hire a Black person in his office to work in his cabinet, if you will. I think that's significant. But, y'all do what y'all want to for that little tidbit of information. I think there are a lot. I think I think he stepped in a whole pile of boo-boo when he said that he was going to give $1,000 dividend to 10 families. That's called buying votes, sir. So he cannot be my president. Even though he probably has some good ideas, he can't be my president because that was a dumb move. And what I need to move away from all dumb moves, because the orangutan and the Oval Office invited the Taliban to Camp David. That is where we entertain, I'm saying we because as Americans, where we entertain heads of state and leaders and allies. That is where we come together and commune and spend time to work through issues. This fool invited the Taliban. Then he got mad because they blew up something. A 12-year-old child was killed, and he said he canceled it because of that. And he didn't cancel them with any level of respect, which means it heightens whatever controversy that we have with the Taliban, because they found out, like we do as Americans, on Twitter. That is how he found out. That's how he notifies people. That's how I said he. That's how they found out. But that's how he found out. He being whoever's in his cabinet, Bolton, who was Secretary of Defense, who everybody says is a horrible, horrible person, who led us into the Iraq War, who led us into the Iran War. He's a warmonger. He's got the worst mustache I've ever seen of anybody in politics. He has a porn star mustache. It's horrible. Well, anyway, he's out. This is the 44th person that the orangutan in the Oval Office has put out of office. But there's no joke there. This is reality that we're living. But I think Yang made a terrible misstep. I now think he's an idiot like Trump. Well, let me be kind. Well, yeah, I do think that. Because he said, I know a lot of doctors. I'm Asian. What? What is happening? What is going on? I mean, where is the Sandman from the Apollo when you need him? Exit stage left. Goodbye. Well, anyway, all of that happened last night. And Beto O'Rourke. I know a lot of people like Beto. I like Beto. I don't think that Beto is going to be the nominee, and his numbers are dwindling. And I think he's a good guy. I think he's really optimistic. I think he sees the world, in a way of rose-colored glasses. He said after the Odessa Midland massacre in Texas that yes, and his exact words were, and I should have played the clip. Hell yes, we're going to take away your AR-15s, your AK-47s. We're going to take those away. Well, constitutionally, you can't do that. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out. The other thing is that I think he is forever changed. I think this man has conviction, truth of spirit. I think that he is honorable, and that the death of these people that have caused great turmoil, hurt, and lack uh, of mental stability. Because can you imagine the trauma that these babies had where their face was in the dirt and they were screaming and hollering? You could hear a dad on Facebook saying, it's all right, it's calm. And then he was saying, are they still shooting? Are they still shooting? And he's trying to comfort his child. He's trying to comfort children around him. He's trying to be, and I know he was terrified because he was targeted. They were singled out. A fool drove from Dallas, Texas, well, the suburb of Dallas, Plano, which is considered a very affluent area in Texas, and he drove all the way to Midland, which is hours, because Texas is the largest state in the continental United States. We're only trumped by Alaska. So it's hours. It takes one full 24 hours to drive out of Texas. To drive through Texas is exactly 24 hours. It takes one whole day. He drove from Dallas all the way to Odessa so that he could specifically kill Mexicans. Okay. Trump started that. I think Beto O'Rourke, growing up in El Paso, growing up with Mexican Americans, being at the border, is forever changed. The idea of taking people's assault weapons away is not is not undesirable to me. But the reason that these people are killing is still happening. I mean, Texas is an ignorant state. We just had 8 laws passed, signed by the governor, to limit the restrictions for gun ownership, gun purchase in the state of Texas. I think Beto is going to have the NRA rise up against him. I think he picked a fight that is going to be very difficult for him to win. But I respect his integrity for getting in the fight, because sometimes you don't fight the fight you can win. You fight the fights that need fighting. I think that's where Beto is. And I respect him immensely for doing that. All right, that's my recap of the Democratic debate. I'm gonna take a quick break. Y'all tell me what y'all think about the debate. Tell me what you're thinking about. I want to talk about Frisco ISD real quick. I'll be right back. Give me about a minute and 30 seconds, and let's talk about Frisco ISD. If you saw my post about Eva Coleman, you'll know she's my sorority sister, award-winning, had an award-winning program. They shut it down and they gave it to a white man. We're gonna talk about it in just a minute. This is Coy with the Black Tea Sip. Go grab your cups. I'm gonna fill it up.
Yeah.
He loud. Can y'all hear that man in the other studio? He's so loud.
How's it coming from across the?
Is his door open? He is so loud. I don't know what he's talking about, but he's hollering at somebody. He like Bernie Sanders, yelling and can on.
So Yang is the guy. So my friend was telling me about him. He came over and he was like, "Yeah, there's this guy who wants to give everybody some, I think like $1,000 a month or pay or something. I don't know, it was something like that." I had never heard of him before though.
Yeah, he's a businessman. I think he's the one that wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Eddie Money? Google Eddie Money. I don't know who Eddie Money is. Google Eddie Money.
American singer-songwriter, dies at 70. I'm not sure.
Eddie Money died, y'all. You see, the one from
That sounds familiar.
what is what's the movie? The Five Heartbeats. Is that the Five Heartbeats? Yeah, somebody answer me. Somebody tell me something. Is he the five? He the Five Heartbeats guy? Oh no, no, child, that ain't him. It's a white guy. I don't know who. Somebody just texted me and said Eddie Money died. I'm like, who is Eddie Money? Well, anyway, gone too soon. Eddie Money died.
String of top 40 hits.
What did he sing?
Baby, hold on. 2 Tickets to Paradise.
Baby, hold on to me. Is that song? I think I'm off. I think I'm off key.
Think I'm in love. Shaking. Take me home tonight. I want to go back. Walk on water.
I don't know.
The love in your eyes. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds familiar.
I don't know Eddie Money.
Hmm.
30 seconds.
The commercials popped up. Do you want to come in or do you want me to just go into the commercials?
Go. Let me come in and then we'll go to the commercial. All right. Somebody texted me and said Eddie Money died. I don't know who Eddie Money is. So GT hashtag GTA is gone too soon. Anyway, we were talking about the debate, and I just want to throw this out here because I did move from it. I think that it's really important that you all pay attention to the base, even if you don't want to sit there 2 hours. I think it's important that you look at them and be able to make the decision about who you like, because you ultimately get to decide who the Democratic nominee is. At least that's supposed to be the theory of Democratic process. So, all right, Frisco ISD. I used to live in Frisco. I have friends that live in Frisco, and my children were a part. Well, my child was a part of the Frisco school district, my oldest child. And my ex-husband and I moved out there because I was saying private school, but he was saying Frisco is a good school district, and that's where we should live. Well, let me say this. My baby went there in kindergarten. They did not teach math facts and they did not teach how to read. Now, that's not Frisco's fault. The state of Texas teaches whole language. If what they do with whole languages, instead of teaching the vowel blends, because mind you, at the time, the principal nor the teacher knew what I was talking about, because my undergraduate degree is in secondary education. Let me say it that way. I was going to say I'm a former educator, but I didn't teach that long, so I don't want to even get in the pool with educators that are really handling their business. But my undergraduate degree is in secondary education from Paul Quinn College. And coming out of Paul Quinn College, because it's a teaching, preaching college, when I was there anyway, you come out of there, you can teach rocks. I have spent my career teaching, not just children when I left there, but teaching doctors when I was working in compliance, and teaching now in politics. And so that is how I get down. I am a teacher at the core, no matter what area or discipline I'm in. So being a teacher, there are things that you learn, even though I was a secondary education major. And so when I was in Frisco, I would say, okay, well, why aren't you teaching the blends? At for cat, rat, sat, pat, mat. You teach the blends, et, pet, met, ret, whatever. That's how you teach them. It is also the word it, but it's pit, it's bit, it's writ. You just teach them the blend so that they learn to read. They don't do that. They didn't teach math flags. So your child does not go into kindergarten learning 1 + 1 is 2 and 1 + 2 is 3. Like we did. Remember, teacher used to walk around the room and we would tell that. And then, back in the day, teacher throw you a little Hershey's Kiss or something, or a little piece of, the little bubble gum. That hard bubble gum, the pink bubble gum that get dry in 2 seconds. And but baby, you thought you were getting something and you felt rewarded for learning your facts. They don't do that anymore. So I continue to talk about the lack of I guess the best way to say is continuity between what they were teaching and how the child was learning. And so my child went there first grade, and what they told me is that he was not on grade level. Well, that particular year, they took the 5th grade curriculum, pushed it down to 3rd grade, took the 3rd grade curriculum, pushed it down to 1st grade. And with that being said, when she told me he wasn't on grade level, I said, well, what you really mean is he's not on 3rd grade level. And she looked surprised. I said, Texas Education Agency just changed the curriculum. And then she just nodded her head. I can tell you when my child was in the first grade, the teacher was meeting with me in October. They had just bought a new math curriculum in October. We're coming up on Thanksgiving. And I said, well, how are you supposed to be suited to teach this? She shook her head, she shrugged her shoulders, shook her head. She did not know. When I went to audit the class, you do know that you can go and sit in the class and watch how they're teaching your child. And if they deny you that opportunity, then your child doesn't need to be in that school because what are they doing that you cannot see as the parent? Those children are on loan to them. They are not theirs to keep. You entrust them with your children. So you have a right to go to have lunch with your kid, and the people say, no, we're doing that for safety. Well, you tell them the pedophiles have been arrested at the schoolhouse because we're seeing that on the news. I've digressed. But Frisco had this way of doing things. And what I can tell you, and people have gotten mad at me when I say this, little white teachers don't know how to deal with little black boys. They come out of A&M and Baylor, and they are not taught how a child learns, and certainly not how our children learn. So they don't know that the child, and listen to me when I say this, parents, your child is an audio learner, a visual learner, or a kinesthetic learner. Audio, of course, hearing, visual, sight, or kinesthetic means they touch it. They have to physically do it to get it. So sometimes with spelling words, you need to have that child write the words down because they have to physically do it. That's a kinesthetic learner. Some children, they look at it, you quiz them, that's a visual. And other children, you have to go over the words with them, they hear it. And some children have a couple of those different ways of learning. Some children just have one. So if that teacher is teaching cookie cutter like Frisco ISD, then your child is not getting everything they need. And they do not know how children learn. That's a lost art. God bless the day, Dr. Wilbur, because baby, I know. So, and the people that came through there with me, they know. Well, that's not what they do at Frisco. So let me tell you what they have done recently. Because Frisco has an attack not only on Black children, but on Black educators. Eva Coleman is an award-winning journalist who has proven that she can not only teach children journalism, she can get them very coveted internships, NBC New York, CBS New York, CNN Atlanta. She's well respected. National Black Journalists Association awarded her Educator of the Year. That means every single educator in the United States, and they chose Eva out of Frisco ISD. For the past 11 years, she has been building up her creation, which was a journalism program, audio and visual production, TV production. A young, and it's not just a Black thing now, for y'all tell me, a young white girl, very poised, very pretty, talked about how she applied college to her schools of her choice, top tier schools, UTOU. They all knew about that program. And she said that had she not gone through Eva's program, she would not have been able to get in the school of her choice. She appealed them shutting down the program, and they denied her the third level of appeal, which by right she was entitled to. The school board of Frisco ISD denied her that appeal. Well, they're saying low enrollment. Well, what we learned the night after the vote was that they had taken it and given it to a white man. He does sports production. So you mean to tell me that people who want to go into news, they decide they didn't want to go to Eva's program, award-winning journalist. They wanted to go to his program. Now they tweeted and said they've been working on this program for 3 years. I find that very hard to believe because she's been fighting them for a year and a half. What they've done is they've sent her to another school and they've reassigned her. Well, in reassigning her, she doesn't have work at her school. This is called phasing her out and phasing out the program. I am going to talk to Eva to see if she wants to bring her award-winning program down south. So little Black boys and little Black girls get the benefit of African American National Black Journalists Association Educator of the Year, Eva Coleman. But that's just my hopes and dreams. I did a call to action. I asked y'all to join, and I have confirmed well over 200 and almost 300 calls were confirmed to the school. So they shut us down. They blocked emails. They did all that. Then they sent us a thing and said she had one student that wanted to be in the program and 5 here, and it was low enrollment. It's at the Career Technology Education Center. But then when they showed the picture of the white man sports TV production program, they were filled with students. Frisco ISD has not done anything illegal. They have done something racist. And it is nothing different, nothing short of what they have always done. I remember my son's kindergarten teacher, Ms. Little. There are times that they feel like our children have too much. I remember in the 5th grade, my teacher, Ms. Cubic, at St. Elizabeth Catholic School, stole my Gucci purse. I know she stole it because when I ran back in the room to get it, she got up and locked her cabinet very suspiciously. And I don't remember, I didn't put it together then, but I remember later thinking how conspicuous that was. And light bulb, she stole my purse. Miss Cubic stole my purse. Well, sometimes they feel like our children have too much. My son in the 1st grade with Miss Little was set outside. It was 20 degrees outside. I showed up in my fur coat, my fur hat, and my fur boots to pick up my baby. And he was sitting outside with no coat, freezing to death. I was incensed. And the principal made the comment looking at me with all my fur and said, "Did you have a coat, baby?" And I asked, I said, "Are you on crack? Have you completely lost your mind? He has a better coat than you, ma'am." Because what they choose to do is to want to diminish us. Our children don't know anything. We're too ignorant to put 2 and 2 together, and they mistreat our children. That happened. Miss Little had to make a formal apology to my child. What she did, she let a little white boy, go home in my son's coat. My son said that was the coat. So I acted a complete black mama because you would rather wrestle a bobcat in a suitcase and fight a grizzly bear with a toothpick than take on my boys. Because my boys are good boys. Now, they are not saints, but they are little angels. Every now and then their halo gets crooked. I'm the only one that can straighten it up. Now, with that being said, when they feel like we have too much, and what she said to me was, "Well, I just felt like, the other little boy didn't have a coat." I said, "You felt like since he had more than one coat, it was all right to send that child home with it." That they had to go to the mother and demand that she send the coat back. Ordinarily, had they said, "This child doesn't have a coat," we had other coats that we had outgrown. He was smaller than my son. My son built like a tank, like his dad. I would have given him a coat. I would have organized a coat drive in the neighborhood and made sure the children had coats. Y'all know me. I'm about action, but not when you steal from my child. And oftentimes that happens to us. They take from us, they give to someone else. And that is exactly what they did with Eva Coleman. I don't want to suggest that this is a black thing and that, Frisco is mistreating black children. I don't want to suggest that. I am saying that categorically. I am saying unequivocally, they are racist in Frisco ISD. What they did to Eva Coleman, they have done to 7 other women, black teachers, and it hasn't been directly illegal. They walk up the line. So I have a plan brewing in my mind. Y'all stay tuned because y'all stay tuned. If y'all lost you on Facebook, stay tuned. I'm gonna take a quick break. We have a little technical difficulty. I'll be right back. This is Cora with the Black Tea Sip. 12 o'clock, we're gonna talk about black women's hair.
Hi, I'm Ed Donahue, host of Breaking Down Barriers radio show. Tune in to
Did you hit something? Okay, let me go down there and check. Let me just make sure this is good. Okay.
Hi, I'm Amy Manuel, host of Political Musing on Fishbowl Red Street. Join me Thursday, September 5th at noon for live on-location coverage of the Texas U.S. Senate candidate forum in Frisco. You'll hear from 6 of the 8 Democratic candidates for U.S. Senate, including former Congressman Chris Bell, Houston City Council member Amanda Edwards,
Yep. Yep.
State Senator Royce West, financial analyst Adrian Acevedo, and labor organizer Christina Romero. Stream the Senate candidate forum live at noon Thursday, September 5th on fbrn.us.
Did I kick it?
I think so. It's okay though.
The Girly Shop Teacher. Girly Shop Teacher advances the knowledge of construction education
Yeah.
through STEAM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Schedule the Girly Shop Teacher for your STEAM project. After school program.
Patrice, I heard you. I saw what you said about it. You see, the back is curved back up. You play too much. You play too much, Patrice.
girlyshopteacher.com or Facebook and Instagram, Girly Shop Teacher. Special thanks to Charles and Val Jones for their generous donation to help further the education of girls and boys through Girly Shop Teacher programs.
Attention golfers, time to get that golf swing on. It's the 6th annual Golfing for Grads Tournament, September 14th at the Riverside Golf Club, 3000 Riverside Parkway in Grand Prairie, Texas. There will be awards and prizes for male, female, and co-ed teams, along with an awards luncheon immediately afterwards. Check-in time is 7 a.m., shotgun 8 a.m. For more information, contact Kathy Mitchell by emailing her at kathy@turner12.org or call or text her at 214-560.
I feel like I take my break a little later, and then she called at 12:15. We just go.
Saturday, September 14th. Proceeds benefiting the Turner 12 organization. We'll see you there. Share your voice, opinions, creativity, ideas. FBRE.us.
People jumping off Facebook going to YouTube. I'm having technical difficulties. I'll be right back with YouTube. Tell your friends. Look, I can't get myself. Ooh, this should just be a radio show and not no try to be live, child. Look at that. What is this on my shirt? It is wearing me to death. Hey, ho.
Looks like we're still logged in. So that's good.
Do I need to end my watch party?
No, you might be able to still keep it because once this video is, then just add this new video into the watch party.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm just getting a circle over here. It's trying to catch it again. Hey, ho. Hey.
You want to put, we're back. Right?
Yeah. I'm just feeling little. I'm like that crazy little mama. Okay. Okay. Hooray! Ho! Hey! Ho! Hey! Ho! Hey! Ho! Hey! Ho! Hey! Ho!
I'm not saying I'm gonna go where I'm going to change, but I guarantee you I'm smart. The plan, that's our job.
Tell me what, tell me what. And baby, live together. Tell me what, tell me what. Everybody wants to live together. Why can't we live together?
Hello, all you melody.
Sun kissed by God's
Lips. This is Corey. I'm super powered for
Make sure everything's good on
good work.
Okay.
There we go. 3, 2.
All right. I apologize, Facebook. Had a little technical difficulty, but ain't no tech difficulty stop this pool. So I see y'all are logging back in. I'm back. Uh, I was talking about Frisco ISD, and one of the things that I think is real important for you to know is when we don't go to the school board meetings, when we don't participate in that process, they can do whatever they want to. They've done it 7 times. Even Eva, with the full weight and brevity of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, did not utilize that tool, that resource. She said she thought she could handle it on her own because there is a certain amount of humiliation that goes with saying, I'm having problems on my job. There's a certain amount of embarrassment that goes along with saying, hey, the people on my job are making things difficult for me. They don't like me, or you have to discuss it in a way because oftentimes people are dismissive. And it's just embarrassing because a part of your worth is tied to your job. Well, I had someone when I was, asking when I did the call to action, and I was asking people to come on and vote. I had someone say, well, your friend, every sentence was your friend, your friend, your friend. I said, wait a minute, hold up, 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 hold up. She's not my friend. She's my sorority sister. And I know that people outside the Black Greek community don't quite know what that means, don't quite put it in perspective, and I get that. But I had never shared a meal with Eva. I had never had a cocktail with her. We don't talk about our kids. We talk about sorority business, and we are very friendly, and I like her and admire her immensely. But I don't want to set the stage that I did this for my friend. I did this because it was a Black woman in need. All right, I told you we were going to talk about alopecia. I've got Crystal Hubbard calling in. And so we're going to talk about Black women. We're going to talk about Black hair. And we're going to talk about hair loss and what you can do. I do want to say that I, several months ago, went on, showed my natural hair in a very unnatural state, child. You had nothing done to it. And I showed that I had some hair because I realized that people were still weave shaming. I thought we were so far beyond that. And I thought that we were beyond it simply because, well, the housewives, they were coming out, they were having wear your real hair parties. And child, it seemed like we had something better to do with our TV viewing, TV watching, TV energy time. But I've digressed. And so I was wearing weave as a protective style. I love color. She is say we have no volume.
No, there is a.
Oh, okay. Well, somebody said we had no volume. Y'all tell me if you can hear me. Holler if you hear me. So we used weave as a protective style. And when I originally got to Crystal, I was in the process of my own hair journey. I was in the process of my own situation of making sure that my hair was healthy and was actually growing and doing the things it needed to do. I don't want. And so, with that being said, I've got Crystal Hubbard. Crystal, can you hear me? Uh-oh, hold
Hear
on.
me?
Crystal, yes, I can hear you now. How are you, Crystal?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. So I was talking about my own hair journey and what you're doing tomorrow is you are having a class on alopecia. Now I don't have alopecia, but I noticed from Facebook and Black Twitter and just social media how we tend to shame and embarrass
Yes,
people that go through hair situations, Black women in particular. And even if you wear a weave and you don't have hair issues, there is a thought that you are bald headed in a sense, or that you
yes.
are, and that's used against you. So tomorrow you are dealing with alopecia. Let's talk about what alopecia is for people that may not know.
Okay. So actually, alopecia is just a medical term for hair thinning and hair loss. And actually, a lot more people are affected by it than I think a lot of people know. So I do think that's why a lot of people feel so comfortable and it's so easy for them to point the finger and crack jokes. But one in four people being affected by it, that's a big number. So it might not be something most people experience right now, but that can still change as they get older. They might end up being on medication. I have children, I have teenagers that experience hair loss. So it's not just an age thing. And so you have to be very careful trying to diagnose someone to tell them what their problem is or cracking a joke because there's a lot of contributing factors to it. But the good thing is, and that's what we're doing on the class on Sunday, is actually going to be a good day hair salon at 259 South Cedar Ridge at Sunday from 4 to 6. And basically, September is Alopecia Awareness Month. So that's the main point of the class, just explaining what alopecia is, what people's options are, and letting everyone know that you're not confined to walking around with thin hair, and you're not confined to just wearing a wig. And I think once people are educated about it and know that they have options, hopefully that'll take away some of that negative stigma associated with people with hair thinning and hair loss and wanting to wear wigs and wanting to wear weave. Even men, they make fun of LeBron James. There's a ton of celebrities who wear hair pieces or just go bald, but we still laugh and make fun. But I think that's just lack of knowledge.
Well, I think that's absolutely right. And it was just yesterday. In one of the groups, they posted a picture of women who had no edges, very thin edges. The hair was extremely damaged, coarse, brittle. When we were kids, we would call it B2B. And so he asked, what caused that? And there were several people that weighed in. Some people said medication, some people said other things. But one of the things that got me is a woman named Kendra or Condras, Kandra Brown, who touts herself as a psychologist. Crystal, she said that it was someone trying to look like someone else. And I thought that was deplorable because the idea that you would wear alternative hair to your own is not because you're trying to look like someone else. And my statement to her was that is shaming because when people find themselves not getting the proper care or the proper treatment for their hair, it starts to fall out, whatever the situation is, they are so ashamed they don't seek out help. What you do very effectively is find ways to have people have healthy hair through protective styles and other things. Let's talk about some of the things that you do for people who are having damaged hair and hair loss.
Absolutely. And that's the one thing I try to do is let people just kind of break it down, analyze their scalp, and just kind of ask them questions about their lifestyle. I think a lot of people, because we have been so shamed in the past, thinking we have to have straight hair, we don't quote unquote have good hair if we have a kinkier texture. So I think that's why people tend to cover it up. So what I try to do is I try to work with what people naturally have. You might not have hair down your back. You might have a shorter length. You might have a more kinky texture. And I just try to encourage people to work with what they have and not try to duplicate a texture that, not their own. And there's different ways to do that. I do different methods of crocheting. I do wigs, extensions. I actually do prosthetic pieces. There's different so I'm mostly style with people who want to wear hair. Now there's also solutions such as laser, medication, transplant surgery, and microblading, tattooing. There's so many options, and I just really just try to let people know what's out there, and then I try to break down specifically on what I do. And mostly mine is going to be styling, weaves, extension, prosthetic pieces, micro links, tape-ins, crochets, quick weaves. I do it all, but there's a correct way to do it, to install it, and there's also a correct way to remove it. And I really focus on keeping the hair and the scalp healthy,
Well,
and not to accelerate their problem.
you do that, and you do a very effective job at that, and I think that's extremely important for people to realize that they have options. So I'm rocking my own hair now because
I love it.
because we people have priced me out, child. But one of the things that you do so good is you make people feel good. Because when I came to you, I was in my own hair journey. My hair was broken in place, long in some places, short in the other, and my marriage was stressful. My hair was falling out, and it just wasn't healthy like it should have been. I came to you, and I know that it can be very hard to expose yourself because it's very vulnerable in the Black community. It's all about color and hair. And so when I came to you and I said, well, do you think I need to do the big chop? And I was so defeated. And I said, you think I need to cut it off? And you said, no, you do not. And you said, no, your hair will grow and we'll just cut it as it goes. And so I think the other thing, Crystal, is that people are out here doing the big chop. They don't need to do it. Can you talk about how to go about getting their hair transformed and getting their hair healthy again?
I think the main thing is probably to start with a consultation about someone who's experienced in that specific field. I think some people think they can go to any salon, go to any hairstylist and say, hey, I'm having this problem, and think that because they're a hairstylist, they're going to have a solution. But I've specifically been trained in people with hair thinning, hair loss. I've been in Good Hair Day for 4 years now, and then prior to that, I actually worked at a hair replacement clinic. So we saw all kinds of people. We offered different kinds of solutions. And another thing that I think helps me have a little bit of an advantage is that I've experienced my own alopecia. Mine is hereditary, which means it runs in my family, but also it's traction alopecia. Because before I was educated on what alopecia was, that's what my problem was. I was wearing sew-ins that wasn't installed properly. I was having putting quick weaves in my hair, not putting them in correctly or removing them correctly. And over time and over years, that took its toll on top of a problem I was already experiencing. I remember it was times where I would go into the bathroom early in the morning while my husband at the time and children were asleep, lock myself in my bathroom and do my hair because I didn't want anyone to see me. I didn't want my husband to see me. And that is, I hear so many women with that same kind of story.
Yes.
And it wasn't until I started working at the hair replacement place and started seeing, wow, this is more common than I thought. That I started sharing my story with my friends and family. That I let my friends and my mom and my children start seeing my hair, and that way they let me talk about it. And it helped me to not be ashamed, even in my own home, because it is what it is. I mean, it was something I was dealing with. Now my hair was always looking cute.
Yes, ma'am.
but it was like I had to stop doing those things that was causing it to accelerate. And then but what I chose to do, I love to wear wigs, but most of the time my hair is in a mohawk. And so I love that I am a stylist and I can take advantage of being able to wear a drastic hairstyle like a mohawk because first it's a conversation starter. Because a lot of people are like, wow, you're so bold. Wow, I can't believe you're so brave to shave your hair off on the side. And to me, that's how I open up the conversation to talk about alopecia. Thank you, but I'm doing this because this is how I choose to deal with my hair, my alopecia, instead of feeling confined to and restricted to only wearing certain hairstyles.
Well,
and I think by me being able to open up and share and relate and pulling off my wig and building up a consultation, it helps people to feel more comfortable and open up to me because like, wow, you really understand what I'm going through.
Well, and it's true because I think part of what we do very effectively in the Black communities, we do a lot of hair shaming, whether it's weaves or wigs or whatever. Even when people have their own hair, it's not long enough, it's not straight enough. You touched on that. It doesn't have the right, so quote unquote, good hair texture. We are very effective in beating one another down because it comes from a plantation mentality. But what you do is you make people feel comfortable. My hair, so I did not experience alopecia per se, but even being able to go and say, hey, I need to get my hair healthy. And I think you touched on something that it was freeing once you were able to say, look, this is how my hair is. This is nothing I can do about it, but we can camouflage it and make it look good. It's freeing for you to be able to say that. And it's freeing for someone to hear that, because as Black women, we ought not be ashamed of having choices. And I think that people do that. We are ashamed of having choices. So, Crystal, tell them one more time about your class and where it is.
Okay, the class is gonna be Sunday at 8 sorry, it's gonna be Sunday from 4 to 6 at Good Hair Day Salon located at 259 South Cedar Ridge in Duncanville. You can also go online and look for the class. The registration fee is $35. And you can also call the salon, and that's on number 817-296-0640, and you can also book the class that way. But we'll be going over everything, understanding how hair grows, so that way you can understand what hair loss is and the different kinds of alopecia, what solutions are out there, and then what specific services that I offer, who's a candidate for what service. So we'll be going over a lot. I think it's going to be really fun. It's going to be really educational. And my overall objective is just to make people aware and just let them know they have options. And hopefully the message will continue to spread and it can just continue to reach and touch and help more people.
Well, I know I appreciate you. Whether I'm wearing a weave or whether I'm rocking my hair now, it's all due to Crystal, because she used to tell me when I would take my weave out to get it redone. She's like, "Don't you want to do your hair? Don't you want to come on? Let's do something." I'm like, because I did not want to have to stand in the mirror like I did today for 20 minutes, like I was in high school trying to get my hair together. Thank you very much, Crystal Hubbard. Crystal Hubbard is the person that you want to see. She grows healthy hair. She loves doing hair, and it shows whether you're wearing a weave or she makes wigs or you rocking your own hair. She's extraordinary. And tomorrow she's having an alopecia clinic to talk about hair loss and what your options are, whether regrowing it or going in a different direction. And Crystal will even do a weave as a protective style. The girl is bad. So go see Crystal at Good Hair Day Salon. Crystal, anything else you want to leave the people with?
That's it. I mean, I just really hope you guys can share this message. I'm going to Good Hair Day page on Facebook, like it, share it. We posted some videos. We have a live that we did last week, and just share that. You might know someone. Remember, this is a sensitive subject, so just encourage someone to come, or just come with them in support. And let's just spread this message and stop shaming each other. Let's support each other and encourage each other, because there are definitely options out there.
I love everything you said. Thank you, Crystal. I know you got probably somebody waiting. She probably got one at the shampoo bowl, one in the chair, and 2, 3, 4, 5 waiting. And I must really care about you and really believe in your message, because I don't want her to be overbooked. I want to be able to get to her when I can. But thank you. That's Crystal Hubbard of Good Hair Day Salon. I appreciate you, Crystal. Have a great day.
Thank you, Corey. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So one of my things has been to stop shaming, to celebrate us, to allow us to have the ability to be glamorous or to be happy nappy, if that's what we want to be. But it is a choice. And the idea that you are wearing fake hair, if you will, because you want to look like a European is utterly ridiculous. I am unapologetically Black, and Lord knows I love my weave. But it doesn't mean that I'm trying to look like someone else. It means that this is me and this is who I want to be. And I'm so tired of Black people telling Black women not to wear their hair blonde because they're trying to be white. Y'all didn't know about the indigenous people of Australia, the Aborigines? That is where blonde hair comes from. Did y'all know that? You need to do a little history, do a little research before you start pointing the finger and shaming folks and talking about things that are inconsequential and downright stupid. I think that it's important that we celebrate one another, that we feel good, that we tell each other things to help us feel good. Now let me say this. Purple hair is not for everybody. Do y'all hear me? Is this thing on? Because I want to make sure everybody gets this message. Look here. Purple hair is not for everybody. I am not saying purple hair is not for Black people. I'm saying purple hair is for nobody. Not nobody. If an alien came from Mars and had a purple wig on, I would take that purple wig off that alien's head. That hair is not for anybody. Pink hair. Pink did it. She looked crazy. That's that. You know what? Y'all just sometimes going too far. Now, again, you got the right to wear whatever you want to wear. That's my opinion. I don't think pink and purple is for anybody. Blue, that's also to me, those are Kool-Aid colors. Those are not colors that ought to be rocked on your head. But if that is your thing, if that's what you're feeling in your spirit, all shut up inside, you got to get it out through your hair. Well, then, do you? Who am I to tell you what your hair should look like? But I am saying that we need to be cognizant of the messages that we're sending out when we hair shame, when we talk about people, when we say certain things. I posted a picture of myself and I said, well, can't wear my weave no more. Here's this. And, over 300 people told me how great my hair looked. And I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Because if for any reason I felt like, oh, I don't know, well, then, you made me feel comfortable. But I wasn't having a hair issue. And I was really kind of being tongue. Now, let me say this weave can be very expensive. And I am not putting weave in my hair anytime soon. Although I do love the maintenance of not maintaining my weave. Yeah, I just made up a word. But I think it's important for people to understand that there are ways that you can deal with your hair and grow your hair and be healthy and be happy in the way you look. And you don't have to set your standards to whatever black person decides. It's some men that don't mind a weave. Some men don't like a weave. Let me tell you something about men. Ladies, listen to me. Hey, get somebody on the phone. This right here, this game I'm about to give you should be sold and not told. Men are not really into the whole glamorous thing. The eyelashes and the hair and the waist cinchers, the fingernail. They like a woman that looks well kept and well put together. But that's why they be trying to talk to you when you at Target with a t-shirt on, no makeup, your hair pulled on top of your head. You just trying to run in and get that thing. You be like, girl, that man crazy. Why was he trying to talk to me like that? That's not what he's looking for. The glamour is a bonus. He really is looking at you to see if you're cute, if you're fine, because he's looking past all of that. We do that for ourselves, I hope, and we're doing it so that we can compete in this pool. But really, that's not necessarily what most men are looking for. So some of the stuff we're doing is real extra anyway, because that's not what we're doing. I hope that the things that you're doing for your hair is for you. That's what you like, and then you owe nobody. You don't owe nobody nothing, girl. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break. Give me about a minute, and I'll be right back. Facebook, we're gonna keep the mic open. So if y'all got something to say, let's talk about it during this break. All right, this is Corey with the Black Tea Sip. When I come back, we are gonna talk about Sean King. They call him Tackle Mix. Well, they got a whole lot of names, but Tackle Mix is the one that sticks with me. Y'all stay with me. This is Corey with the Black Tea Sip. Y'all want me to hum the song we listening to? That was Erica Badu. Every now and then Erica comes out and she just does something like she'll make an IG post or something, and she have a ring in her nose and stuff all over her face and dots, and she just be doing this in the camera. What the hell, Erica? What is going on? Michelle says she loved the hair segment. Thanks, Michelle. Love you. She's a big supporter of the show. I'm really trying to help us in my small little way, help us feel better about being us. And a lot of times we get mad at other black women because we say, "Oh, she wants her hair straight," or "She wants her hair." People are just doing it for them. For me, a weave was convenient. It wasn't convenient for my pocket because, truth be told, a good bag of hair and the hair that I was buying could last anywhere from 18 to 20 months. A good hair. I mean, it was going up. It was like $400 a bag. That's, and I hear it's thick. So that could be, I'm not saying I paid this. That could be $800 for the hair. And then another, if you dye it, which you know I love my dye, that could be another $200 to $300. So you are literally putting 1,000 to could be $1,200 on your head. That's crazy. That's crazy. If I'm not having real hair issues or significant hair problems, then I should just roll my hair up like I'm 15 and not get no sleep. That's why my hair braid on side, child, because I'm a side sleeper. So I had to come up with something. Crystal is good for that. But I appreciate that, Michelle, because a lot of what we're doing, sometimes even unconsciously, is we're shaming people. And I started out talking about that girl is on Facebook, Kandra, Brown. They be like, why y'all? Why you telling that? Because they sit on Facebook, child. Facebook is public forum, open, 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 like the Mervin's lady. And I said that it may not be intentional, but that's a form of hair shaming. And she was like, I'm a psychologist. I said, well, then you know that words have meaning. Saying, I said, well, define trying to look like someone else. What does that mean? What does that look like in real terms? So what she did was effectively called crowfishing. That's what she did. And then on Facebook when you win the fight, because I've learned by someone that's so smart and he's so intelligent in such a witty, goofy way. He says, and very, very petty. I almost just adore that. He said, but I don't adore it in everybody. Okay, so I digress. But what he said was the next person that speaks loses. And that's kind of what I've learned to do on Facebook. And so what I've also noticed is when you really gather somebody and get them all the way together, you know what they do. They said, you know what they do, Angelo? They give a laughing emoji on Facebook. When you have gathered them and got them all the way together, that's what they do. They can't do nothing else. So then they put the ha 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 joke on you, boo boo. So I did that segment. It was already lined up, but I just thought that was funny. Here is a psychologist saying that the only reason someone would wear hair other than their own is because they want to be European. Some of this is just ignorant. Woo, Lord, black folks, we're gonna get together one day, one day, one day. I think I need to play Change Gonna Come or something. But I need to play the Leela James version. I was born. Erica. You know how Erica Badu song will just make you just stop and you just rocking. Okay, well, that's what she does. Shout out. Shout out to South Dino, Erica Badu. Um, Sean King. Sean King, Talcum X, that's what they call it. That's the one that stuck with me. That's hilarious. Somebody called that man Talcum X. Anyway, he and D-Ray the comedian. Now, let me say this. D-Ray, where has he been? Like, is he somewhere and I haven't noticed? Okay. So he comes out. Sometimes people attack people because they themselves are irrelevant and are trying to be more relevant. That happens all the time. Okay, so there are several tweets about Sean King being, a thief. Now, let me say this. I have worked uh, in concert, in tandem, along with Lee Merritt, who has utilized his friend Sean King's platform to help me when I have a candidate running for judge. Sean King's PAC gave $100,000 to Elizabeth Frizzell. Y'all remember when she was running against Cruzo for the Democratic nominee for, district attorney in Dallas County? Well, that's that is what I know Sean King has done. And so I can't speak to him being a thief, being a thief. I can speak to what I know he's done in Dallas County. He has supported through his platform my candidates. He has shown up in Dallas when we had a big race and we were trying to put a Republican out for district attorney. His platform is social justice, and he's been effective through Black Lives Matters and Tamika Mallory's campaign and others. Now, I don't have a personal relationship with Sean King. I have a personal relationship with Lee Merritt, who has a personal relationship with Sean King. But Sean King has used his platform for me and has put out a slate card for the Black judges here in Dallas County. He has done that. And I'm re-emphasizing the fact that $100,000 went to Liz Frizzell's campaign. Now it was kind of late. To me, it was kind of late for her to really effectuate and move the money like she needed to, but it did come. Now there are several tweets, and I'm not going to give credence to the people that are tweeting, so I'm not going to call their name, but the article for D-Rays in several magazines, online magazines or online publications, should I say. They are talking about him stealing the money. So he has a 42-page outline, and there are seven people, excuse me. I don't know why I'm getting tongue tied on seven. Maybe I wanted to say several. So let's just do both. Several people that have come out in support of him, have looked at his IRS tax returns, looked at the PAC's finances, and others. D. Ray is saying that the IRS reports that nonprofits, that it's public knowledge, so it's online, you can find it. He's saying that it's not there. And so he's saying the reason for their falling out is because he had issues with the money. Okay, that very well may be true. I do not know. I just know what's been alleged. But here's the other thing that I think people have a problem with Sean King. His ethnicity is, well, excuse me, his race, not his ethnicity. He's American. His race, it has come under scrutiny and fire a great deal. If y'all looking at me at Facebook, I got a stream bothering me in my face, and that's why y'all see me fighting my face. So here's the thing. This is what I've gathered. So this is a coism. Do whatever you want to with this. It appears that Sean King's white mother was married to her white husband, and she stepped out. And so Sean King is biracial, and he has a very difficult time. At least that's the story or the narrative that's seemingly running. It's an undercurrent. It's not really out there on the surface, but there is a bit of an undercurrent. He made a statement about his family is complex. All of his siblings are not blood, and that he has not really been comfortable talking about his race because his family has certain issues and affairs, and the affair is what he used. And so I've kind of pieced all of the information together, and it's seemingly that the mother had an affair with a black man, and he is biracial, and he was raised by a white father or raised in a home where some of the kids were fully white, and he was the the black sheep, figuratively and literally. That seems to be the message. And so people have come out and said he's another Rachel Dolezal. Remember her? She was president in Seattle, Washington, of the NAACP, and she was spray tanning and putting what do they call it, natural kinky hair in her head, and proposing to be black, and it came out that both of our parents were Caucasian. Ooh, child, that is some Caucasian, isn't it? When you can just can't nobody else make a decision about who they want to be. She just up and decided, oh, I won't be white no more, I'm gonna be black. And who's to say, I don't know, Hispanics are supposed to be the majority in this country in 2044. Um, y'all might want to watch out, Hispanics. She'll be coming for y'all next. Dye her black, and have her skin kind of olive, back up off of that tan number 10, and show up and be a LULAC or something, child, and she won't be with the NAACP anymore. Uh, but there seems to be this relationship between Rachel Dolezal and Sean King that won't go away. And I think part of the issue of his race also gives credence and momentum and fire to this whole thing about him being a thief because it doesn't seem to go away. And I find him talking about a lot. I'm often wondering who is his PR person because he seems to talk about what he has not done an awful lot as opposed to talking about all of his great works and then actually having a podcast or a format. I don't listen to his podcast all the time, so maybe he has done this and I'm speaking out of turn, but it would seem to me that he would just have people come out and say this is what he did. Have Liz Frizzell literally say, you gave me $100,000 and all the other people, but that's not what I'm seeing. They were talking about the families and they were saying he's not necessarily, up front with the families. And it was there several articles. And, you had Botham Jean's family, who I spoke about at the top of the show, saying that he has been nothing but nourishing. I don't know what that means. We're talking about stealing and we're not talking about nourishment. So to me, it's a little bit of a misnomer there and it's something amiss. Now I can't quite put my finger on it because I'm certainly not calling him a thief. I'm not saying I agree with people that are calling him a thief. I am saying that this won't go away. Now, like Sears. Remember Montgomery Ward, y'all, a long time ago? Like back when we were like kids. They would say Montgomery Wards and Sears would file on your credit every 7 years. And you really had to take 10 years to get Montgomery Ward and Sears off of your credit, even after 10 years. Well, yeah, so why are you telling me that? That's kind of how this thing is with Sean King. Child, it will not go away. It is the Sears of social media. They just keep refiling on the boy's credit. And it seems to me that he either needs to prove them wrong and we get finished with it, or the other people need to prove that they're right and we get finished with it. But nobody seems to have the proper receipts. Now, I think that Sean King is passionate about what he does. Now, at one time, y'all tell me if I'm wrong, and I know y'all will. You tell me if I'm wrong. There was a time that you kind of associated his being beat up with police brutality. Didn't y'all associate Sean King's when you saw the horrible pictures of how badly he was battered and beaten? At one time, we kind of associated that with police brutality. At least I did. And then I found out that he was beaten very badly by racists because he was dating a black woman and he was thought of as white. Now, let me go back when I say racist. You saying Coy, are you saying the black folks were racist? No, supposedly he was beat up by white men who didn't like the idea of a white man dating a black girl. That's the story. As far as I can see, if I'm wrong and y'all see something else, y'all let me know. And I know you will, baby. So that started him supposedly on this trajectory to where he is now with the whole Black Lives Matter movement. His wife came out and said he's no Rachel Dolezal, but this does not overshadow all of his great works, the things that he's done with Black Lives Matter. And I don't think that's an untrue statement. The thing that I think fuels the momentum against him is that she also said he's not ready to talk about his race. So the reporter said that he asked him straight up, are you white? And he didn't want to talk about it. And then finally he said, I am biracial. It's the hiding and the untransparency of who you are that fuels the fire. So when he says I'm transparent about how I receive and give money, but won't be transparent about who he really is, keeps this thing going. It fuels the fire, it moves the train, it kicks the ball, whatever, kicks the can, whatever little euphemism you want to use, that's what's happening. And I think we need to have trust in the people that we are entrusting with our cause. I think we need to have a certain level of trust, and there needs to be an alignment of the cause, the honor therein, and the code in which we deliver on the cause. We have to be aligned there. And if you can't say, my mom had an affair, or my dad had an affair. I'm assuming it's the mom. You see how I did that with the women? But I think it was his mom. Because there's a picture of him sitting on his mom's lap. And I didn't see any pictures of him with his dad. I saw a picture of the family, but I didn't see a picture of him just with the dad. With the husband. And let me backtrack that a little bit. With the husband. And so because of that, whoever the haters are or the truth tellers, because I don't know which is which. They're both wearing disguises. That is what we see. People that tend to be irrelevant, that very well may be telling the truth, but their message is lost because of their timing. And I talked about timing with Antonio Brown and his accuser. And so, with that being said, there seems to be a little bit of eyebrow, kind of feeling about Sean King. And I think at one point it does overshadow his good works, the things that he has in fact done. I think it's more important to have families come out and say, I received this money, it helped me with this, or funeral cost, or whatever, or lawyer's fees, or whatever it is he's doing. But I do know he gave the money to Liz Frizzell, and we need more people like Liz Frizzell, because I haven't heard her weigh in at all. And she's probably not a Twitter person, but she's a Facebook person. It's also been on Facebook. We need to have those people come forward and stop this, nip it in the bud, as your grandmother used to say, because we need to be able to trust Sean King. We need to be able to believe in what he's saying. And, I don't agree with him with the Jay-Z thing. I know y'all are waiting on me to say that $400,000 from this, this alignment, this connection, this partnership between Jay-Z and the organization that he started with NFL, $400,000, and the group cuts off dreads. I am looking into that more. I can't really speak on it because I need to know. I have people said that I've been a champion and a proponent for Jay-Z. No, I haven't. I think the devil worshiper. The God I serve sits up high and looks down low. He is the most high God. He is the Father of the Son that saves souls that we know as Yeshua. Those of us that know that the original cross was an ankh. Those that know that Amun Ra is the reason we say amen. That is where I lie. But and I don't think Jay-Z is aligned with that. An upside down cross at a concert tells me something different. So I am not a Jay-Z fan, proponent, champion. But I do believe in giving people the benefit of the doubt, especially when their track record would suggest something else. So this organization is cutting off dreads. I'm looking into that more. I don't know what that means, but I want to leave you with this. Dreadlocks is a Caucasian term. Locks is what they are called. I have also called them dreadlocks. So I am not picking on anyone in particular. I'm also throwing myself on my sword, saying I was ignorant at one time as well. My cousins have had locks. My brother has locks. His locks are almost to his behind. They're gorgeous. And they're not for everybody. And I've talked about that openly as well, because there has to be maintenance done with any natural hair. But it's also a Rastafarian is a religion. It is a way of life, a way to live. Many people that wear locks are not aware of that. My brother doesn't really cut his nails either. That's part. I mean, they don't grow long like a woman, but they're not kept real close because he has embodied that philosophy. Clean eating, clean. But now he's a Q, so he get his crown on. So do what you want to with it. You know how black folks. We use stuff as a smorgasbord. We pick and choose like we want to. But cutting off the locks, and they made it symbolic with being free. And so I'm looking into that more to talk about that. If it's time to go after Jay-Z, I am not ashamed. I'm unapologetically black, which means when black folks get out of line, and I think so, I deal with that too. I don't always agree, and we don't have to fall out. I've had followers on the show. We disagree, but we've agreed to disagree. I've had friends the same way, because you're black doesn't mean we all think alike. It means that we're open-minded and we listen to one another in honor and in truth, that we're good to one another in the process, and that we try to help each other. Sometimes we don't just straighten up the king's crown or the queen's crown. We place a crown on their head. We tell them who they are and whose they are. They are the people of the created in his image. We are the originators. Look at Africa, the first bones that were found. We should know who we are, and we should celebrate one another knowing who we are. We ruled Europe, Spain in particular, for 800 years, introduced light by lighting oil and lined the streets of Vienna. We are the people, creators of the astrology and medicine and mathematics and science. We are those people. We are the people that embodies love. So we should have more respect for one another. This is Coy with the Black Tea Sip. I'm gonna go on and get out of here. I had a little technical difficulty, so my video and the replay will be in two parts. But y'all smart enough and eager enough, zealous enough to deal with that part. Those of you that listen to me on Facebook Radio Network, I appreciate y'all. Our numbers are growing weekly. YouTube, y'all stay with me. I appreciate YouTube. I really don't you Facebook people to go to YouTube because Facebook be tripping. But with that being said, I ain't never afraid of a little trip. I double dutch. This is Coy. Grab your cups next week. We're going to fill it up. We'll do it one more time next Friday. For those of you in Dallas already. Diamonds, Pearls, and Jerry Curls. And I'm out. Have a great weekend, everybody. This is one of my favorite songs. You know that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Don't cut me off yet.
No, you're good.
Oh, oh.
You want me to cut off?
Yeah.